Hi all. In the last session we were discussing about floating exchange rate system and fixed exchange rate system. So floating exchange rate, the exchange rate between two different currencies varies on the basis of external factors like demand and supply of certain currencies. So why demand and supply varies for any certain currency we will discuss in today's class. So this is the 15 marks very important topic, factors influencing exchange rate. So first one is money market. Money market instruments you have studied in your earlier semesters like repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, etc. So the repo rate, which determines the interest rate of borrowing and lending in any country. So if the money market instruments are playing pivotal role in any economy, then the flow of foreign currencies may get slow. So a tight monetary policy is favorable for the exchange rate because high interest rate will cool the economy and drive down inflation, attracting funds into the country. So when the inflation rate is reduced, then the real income and nominal income, which is directly impacts because of inflation rate, will definitely attract foreign funds. Those who are investing, those foreigners who are intending to invest in our country, they really look for return on investment, that is interest rate offered by any financial institution. So interest rate is decided on the basis of inflation. So the tight monetary policy like repo rate, bank rate and all will attract more foreign funds. If the more foreign funds are coming to India, then the demand for Indian rupee increases. Then the fiscal policy of government. So fiscal policy, it is decided by the government, and what is the source of fund for the expenditure from the government, and how they are going to spend those money. So the budgetary position, fiscal policy is nothing but the budget announced by the government. The budgetary position of the government indicates the soundness of fiscal management. If the fiscal management is really good, it always attracts more foreign funds, and more if the more foreign funds are inflowing into our country, then again the demand for rupee will increase and rupee appreciates against other currencies. The third one is inflation rate. See, it is the interest rate decided by any country or any central bank or any financial institution is directly or positively correlated to inflation rate. If the inflation rate in a country is high, then the financial institution must offer higher rate of interest to attract more funds. Because when you adjust your income, that is your real income, with the inflation rate, then your nominal income, it is directly impact, the inflation directly impacts on your nominal return on investment. Say for example, if you are earning 100 rupee, then the inflation rate in a country is 4%, then your nominal income will be 100 minus 4, that is 96 rupees only. The 100 rupee is not exact 100 rupee you are earning. Because of the inflation rate, that 100 rupee is worth only 96 rupees, because there is a 4% inflation in that country. So if the 4% inflation rate is there, then a financial institution or those banks which are accepting foreign deposits must offer higher rate of interest than inflation rate in a country, so that an investor can earn more. So when the inflation rate is adjusted in real income, then the nominal income, if the nominal income increases, eventually foreign funds will inflow, foreign funds will flow to our country, and again there will be an increased demand for Indian rupee. When Indian rupee gets more demand, then the rupee appreciates against other currencies. Then the balance of payment, that is current account deficit and current account surplus. So balance of payment is nothing but total export minus total imports. See, if you are exporting more goods than what you are importing from other country, then it is called as a surplus economy. That means you are selling more rather than buying from other people, other countries. So The India is the largest exporter in many sectors, including agriculture, software, and pharmaceutical, etc., etc. Even though we are the largest exporters in many domain or many sectors, our economy is always under deficit because we are entirely depending for petroleum products on other countries. We are not producing petroleum and we are not having petroleum resources in our country, and we are largely importing gold. So these two commodities, because of these two commodities are largely imported from many countries like US, China, etc., etc. Whatever you export, our country is under deficit economy only. So if any country's economy is a surplus, that is the export is more than import, then if you are exporting more, then foreign fund flow, the foreign currency, we receive foreign currencies. When we convert it to Indian rupee, we have to sell the foreign currency and buy the Indian rupee. So once the buyers are more, rupee gets more demand. When the increased demand results in appreciation of rupee against other currencies. Then the attractiveness of country for investment. See, all these attractiveness, it is because of government's policies, government's decision on foreign direct investments, government's decision on foreign institutional investors, government's decision on globalization, privatization, liberalization policies, and it is the foreign fund or foreign investors will invest in our country. Say for example, if any company from America, uh, Apple iPhone would like to invest in India, then Apple looks for better infrastructure, it looks for better airports, it looks for better market, it looks for potential buyers, etc. All these things are always based on government's decision and government's policies. If the government is more liberalized, if the government is focusing on globalization, privatization, etc., then definitely foreign fund will be attracted, foreign investors will be attracted to our country, and if they are investing in our country, they have to buy the Indian rupee. If they are buying Indian rupee, then they